Good morning, YouTube. We are in the hashtag bunker. And I'm playing with my line gear, and because we being the brethren, we have a thing coming up, which I'm looking forward to. And yeah. Do you even Coyote Brown, bro? So I'm playing with my line gear, and I've had this thought that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Let's go for a walk. Called, well, it's not called anything, but it's getting stuff done, okay? How to get stuff done. This is applicable across all spectrums of your life, whether it is business or personal or SHTF or homesteading or agriculture or your side hustle or whatever. Where does this most manifest itself for me? Business, for sure, right? Because I have a lot of irons in the fire. I am blessed to have a lot of irons in the fire. So, can we do this? Let's do this. The best. Believe me, it's tremendous. Everybody tells me. There we go. How's that? Okay. Cool. So, yeah, single point. Sling today. How does this manifest itself in my life? For me, I have to make sure that I prioritize and execute, which is something we're going to get to in business, because there's so many things. There's like hundreds of little things trying to do this to get into my brain, and I have to do this so that I actually GSD, get stuff done. It also happens in my personal life and scheduling. You know, I have a wife and 3 kids. 2 of those 3 kids are engaged in school, and they have sports, and they have academic events, and they have stuff going on, and we have extended family that comes to visit. We've had more visitors here in nowhere BFE, Oklahoma, than we had when we lived in North Texas. Every week, sometimes multiple days per week, somebody comes to visit us, and I love it. But we have to make sure that we have time for those people, right? So now it's a time management thing as well. So those are the 2 areas that really, you know, business and personal, you know, those are very broad spectrums, but business and personal, that's how I have to make sure to GSD, get stuff done. So, and you can, you know, you can insert the in there, but, you know, I don't want anybody with a pacemaker to get all a flutter and fall over from watching this video because I said a 4-letter word. So it's funny too, because listen, I love you guys, especially you new guys, but you have no idea who the old bear was. You have no idea. It's nothing. That's nothing. I could swear the paint off of that barn if I wanted to, but I don't want to anymore. Although occasionally I drift back into soldier speak, as they call it. And just to clarify, no, I was not in the United States military. I was a civilian contractor for the DOD, DOE, and a whole bunch of other people. So, bing! All right, cool. Let's move on. Business aspects. For me, how do I get stuff done? Well, one of them is prioritize and execute. Now that term comes right out of Jocko Willink's Extreme Ownership, which is a great book. If you haven't read that and you're at all involved in business, you should read it. Now, the thought process behind prioritize and execute has been around since the time of Marcus Aurelius. But Jocko does a pretty good job of taking all of that and condensing it into this so that you can feed your eyes and your brain with it. So, prioritize and execute. How do I do that? What I do, because I'm a tangible person, and when you work in the world of intangibles, emails, ones and zeros, things that are hard to quantify, what I do is I write them down on a 3x5 index card, which 3x5 index cards, by the way, are my favorite thing to shoot at 25 yards. There's just something about a 3x5 that hitting 3x5s quick, come up, bang, 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 right? Or coming out, bang, 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 bang. I love shooting 3x5s, which is probably why this works for me, okay? By the way, If you want to save money on targets, get 3x5 index cards. They're like $2 for 100 of them. And they force your eyes to go right to that thing. There's no big thing, right? And if you think about the Terminal T 3x5 index card, there's a tip from Bear. I write everything that I need to get done on 3x5 index cards, and then I push pin them to a bulletin board in my office. In our office, we have N office, right? 5th grade English, N office, uno officino, officia, yeah, C officia, uno officia, for my wife and I. So that's fun. Time sharing an office, it's good times. But we have a bulletin board in there, and I will write everything that needs to get done on an index card. Now, I get the multiple colored packs of index cards, so there's some pinks, there's some greens, there's some yellows, there's whites, and there's orange, I think is the other color. And so different cards have different meanings. You know, business is this color, personal is this color. And then if it's a pressing, something that needs to get done right now, I will write it with a big fat Sharpie. Boom, get this done, and I put it right at eye level so that every time I look at it, it's right there, it's bold, and it's usually on a pink index card. I'm like, I can't ignore this. And so when I'm gonna figure out what to do with my day, I walk over to the bulletin board and I pull this one off, and I pull this one, and I'll look at it, and I'll pull this one off, and now I've got my things. This is what I'm doing today. And I'll stick them in my chest pocket of my shirt. I'll put them on my desk right here so I can see them while I'm killing a family of 5. Killing a family of 5. Yeah, sorry y'all. Okay. I write it on the card. And then when I do the thing, world of tangibles, I take the card, best part of my day. That's a lie. Best part of my day is actually praying with y'all on the phone. And kissing my wife and hugging my kids and all that. Best part of my business day. I take the card, rip it in half, rip it into quarters, and I throw it in a waste paper basket, which is a box from the printer that has served well and is still in service. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Done, gone, eliminated. On to the next one. So that's one way that you can do it. Another way that works for some people better than others is to take a sheet of paper, fold it in half, okay? And then fold it in half again and again. So you end up with like 16 little boxes, all about that big on the piece of paper. Then you take your pen. This isn't a pen, but you take your pen and you write down in each little box, email Bob, feed sheep, make popcorn, whatever, like whatever your things are, clean rifles, okay? And then they're all in this neat little box. And while they're in this little box, now you got them contained. And for a lot of people, again, it's that visual stimuli. I have a pen right here. What's wrong with me? Okay? It's that visual stimuli. They can take their pen and cross it out. So those are two ways in business, right? But the prioritize and execute portion of this is there's going to be, if you're anything like me, there's going to be 15, 20 things that are demanding your attention, which is one of the things I despise about today's society. Everybody needs you right now, right now, right now. They don't. That's unless you have very specific types of jobs that don't need you right now. They can wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And a lot of that is boundaries. Some people will just come into your bubble. Other people, you let them in all the time. Sometimes you have to go, you're too close. You're disturbing my shalom. Back up. I'll talk to you in this many minutes. In the meanwhile, you go over there. Got it? Got it. Good. Okay. So, prioritize and execute. You're going to have 15 different things vying for your attention. you can't get to all of them, right? What's that Ron Swanson thing from Parks and Rec? Don't half-ass 15 things, whole-ass one thing. Yeah, whole-ass one thing, okay? Robert Greene from the 48 Laws of Power. Mine one mine and mine it deep. Focus, pick one, and then stay on that thing until you achieve the objective, until you reach the benchmark, until the goal has been achieved. Okay. Then move on to the next. Because 10% of your time on 10 things is not as effective as 100% of your time and energy and focus on one thing. Then you get that done, get rid of it, move on to the next thing. So prioritize and execute. Figure out what's actually critical and do those critical things first. And then everything else, go where the spirit leads. If you can do 80% of your work in 3 hours, why spend the other 5 hours on the other 20? You cannot do that 20, but you could pay somebody else to do that 20, micro outsourcing, using Fiverr.com or My Man in India or lots of other resources available to you. Or you can take that last 20%, you got 80% done in 3 hours, that last 20%, bang it out. 1 more hour, just bang it out, grind, now it's done. So in 4 hours, you got a day's worth of work done. Guess what? You just reclaimed 4 to 6 hours or maybe even 8 hours of your life. Now go feed your sheep, or do push-ups, or hug your kids, or go see a movie, or do whatever you want to do, not what you have to do. Okay, cool. Moving on. Personal life. GSD, getting stuff done. One of the best principles I have for this comes from the Solopreneur Hour with Michael O'Neill, and he heard it from one of his guys that he interviewed, and I just love the saying, is don't prioritize your schedule, schedule your priorities. Meaning, on Tuesday the 18th, little Susie has a piano recital. I'm going. Yeah, but I'm going. The end. Yeah, but what about? We'll do it on the 17th. We'll do it on the 19th. We won't do it at all. On the 18th, I'm going to the concert recital. The end. Prioritizing your schedule means that you get to pick from a bunch of different BS things you don't really want to do and fill up little brackets at time and go, my day is full. Schedule your priorities. I would love it if you would have as much blank space in your schedule as possible. And during the periods of time where you do have things on your schedule, you're just killing it. You're just grinding. And you know what happens? The more blank space you create in your schedule, the more you're able to actually focus on the things that matter when you are grinding, when you are GSD, when you are getting stuff done. So it's an either or equation, if and both equation, all right? You have to create the white space, the blank space, the room to breathe so that when you do grind, you grind efficiently. But figure out what you want to do. Like, for example, I may have a thing in May 2019 for a guy doing a thing. Pop my collar. It's already on the calendar. It's already on the calendar. If it doesn't materialize, cool. But everything else falls around that. So you schedule your priorities. I want to go, saying hypothetically, I want to go on a 2-week cruise in Alaska. Go. Yeah, but nothing. You are the author of your own temporal walk here, okay? You have 2 feet, not roots. You can go wherever you want to go. I would pray that it would be in service to the Most High while you're doing it, but that's between you and Him, okay? Go do. If you want to do it, do it. Put it on the schedule. Just go do it. I don't have the money. Well, you put it 6 months out from now, commit to it, and now you're going to have to find the money. I do that to me all the time. I love saying yes first and then figuring it out. Now, I have to be careful because I have an element of people pleaser in me. And if I say yes to too many people, this is something I've learned about myself by being brutally self-aware. If I say yes to too many people, I underdeliver and overpromise. I hate that. I prefer to underpromise and overdeliver. So I need to say yes to like 3 people, not 15 people. And I've gotten much better in that as I've gotten older, and I've just done a lot of reps with business. So I learned to not overextend myself because I get burnt out, I get cynical, and I start to resent the blessing of work, and I underperform. That's not the point. That's not why we do this. The point is to overperform, underdeliver. Overperform, underpromise, right? You want to exceed expectations. That's what I'm getting at here. So the words are the best words, believe me. So in my own personal life, I just schedule what I want to do when I want to do it, and then everything else falls in place around there. And I get it. There's a bunch of you who live in cubicle land or corner office land or whatever. These are trappings of your own making. Says me. What's the name of this channel? Bear Independent. You don't have to be there. I realize there's perks of being there, or you're on the shop floor or the production line or the whatever. I get it. The sales floor. I get it. But actions have consequences. These are choices that we make, right? Just pick something and do it. And I would encourage you to do something that's on the edge of your comfort zone, because that's where growth really lies, right? Commit to something that's going to take a lot of you to achieve, and then achieve it, and you grow. You do the rep, and you get stronger from doing it, and you do another one, and it's not as hard, and you do another one, and you're like, man, this ain't too bad. All right, throw some more weight on, get to the edge of that comfort zone again. So GSD, getting stuff done. In my own business world, prioritize and execute is huge for me. It's killer for me. And again, to recap, the mechanisms that I use to prioritize and execute are those little boxes on paper and the 3x5 index cards. And I also whiteboard like a crazy mofo, man. I'm a big whiteboard aficionado. So, but I don't let stuff live on the whiteboard. Whiteboard is perishable. It can't stay up there for more than 24 hours. And if it's still up there after 24 hours, I have to figure out, is this something we're keeping? So am I memorializing this in a document, or am I erasing this? So that's a forcing factor for me as well. And I love employing forcing factors. So, because they force me to GSD, right? And to be very intentional and specific with my time, that from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm on this, the end, okay? And then, so whiteboarding, index cards, little paper boxes, business side. Personal side, and that would include the homestead, the family, the kids, the visitors, everything is schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize your schedule. Schedule what you want to do and then fill in everything else around that. Now, the more you are self-reliant and self-employed and you create your own hours and inputs, the more you can do that. But you can absolutely do it if you are an employee, and I would encourage you to do it if you're an employee, because it helps redefine the boundaries between you and your boss and your business and all of that, and it will make you think about, how do I precisely fit into this machine as this cog that they want me to be, and is this the best fit for me? So GSD, getting stuff done. There's Bear's take on it. Shalom.